This is the article Gray Heights from July in 2023. Barbara stands in the laundromat and washes clothing. Susie opens and closes the fridge. A best friend roams in a sweatshirt and scavenges all day. We passed by each other once, and I've never said a word to her. The man pushing his uncle in a wheelchair mutters, "Lilac." I am sure, behind my curtain, that I am not the only one who finds they have hiked up their pants to step up and down on their bedroom floor, as if the rug is covered in grapes to crush. Is that city wine? Leave it around. Allow learning to be possible. Remove bondage. I've heard recently something that I agree with from that philosopher from Slovenia on a video he was in. He said the new games must in part be a reawakening of old games. In my observation, the evil is a false tradition, the value of old being made by parasites who are terrified that they are missing out on something that is far more genuine than they could ever bear, so they tell others they know what is old and maintain complacent stupor. That philosopher is Slavoj Žižek, the international director of the Birkbeck Institute for the Humanities at the University of London. A. The story goes that Lucy's fur was originally an angel. Some called the morning star Lucy's fur, but the morning star is also Venus. It is not until this angel tried to lead a revolt against God that he was named something like Saturn, and cast down to earth, where he tries to make matters worse for the humans he envies. Many don't believe this is important and take the name lightly in this realistic society that forgets history and the weights of years, centuries, and ages. Phone realistic. I equate the devil to putting the world of senses before the world of spirit, and think whoever plays that way is a hellion. There could be an actual devil in vitro. There was a fat man at a party in San Diego whose table I would not clear. I was crazy. But maybe, in the morning, as the morning star, it's not evil. Then maybe at 12 o'clock, when the sun is high in the sky, suntan appears. I walked by Ashmore Road the other day and saw a man make an evilish face at sunrise in his car, lapping his tongue like a chained dog. One observes that some old people think an evil guise is a sort of defense mechanism, or a way to encourage the youth by fear, since they've been through worse. One knows idiots who somehow live by the phrase, "better the one you know." To knowingly associate with an evil archetype affects culture, especially if you consider that good religion. No one wants some drunk devil around their kids, but it's all too common. Maybe tomorrow morning, Lucy's fur is skinned again, and perhaps Lucy's fur can just remain the morning star, Venus, and we can stop feeding that false and wretched sliver of Catholic ideology the right to be dualist, for one is already the victor in reality. What happens now in Worcester is this. In the Worcester bars, mile and a half from the psalms read at night in the apartment building on Harvard Street, there are drunks saying they are knights responsible for moderating evil. And they do some despicable ritual toast at sunset. And God knows what they think they are doing. God knows what evil they've convinced the women they are in charge of to excuse drunkenness. while wives watch the back door. Mothers weep. I reckon these men convince the women they are the devil. An idiota who thinks they are spiritually important without acknowledging the genuine scripture, martyrs, monks, or gurus are falsifying a legitimate part of human life, and this author disdains them. Complacent. Wisdom is ugly. Like a dog that returns to his vomit is a fool who repeats his folly. Proverbs. I bet less than 1,000 people in this city have actually read of the multiple crusades, one which allegedly lent a fragment of the cross to Holyrood Abbey. Those men are really just idiotas who prevent progress. I'm IRA. You're dead. The man in the park who is sitting still on the bench, like I sit still in my chair, can tell me more by saying nothing than those with junk brains who taint the darkness of nights. And they might never change, but amen to my friends and his friends. Though, what does she do for me? Why can't she love me in my room? Since life is so precious, so special, and there is a vertical route, a ladder for me that is a privilege or a destiny, why should she serve me the low-hanging fruit while my dreams are festooned by the good graces that come from taking 5 minutes? 5 minutes. I am alone. I am a sun in space. Can I raise a new sun in space? Drink a water. Have a laugh. What year is it? It isn't even 1997 again. Crack, 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 crack. A. Pat, rookie policeman, stands outside on Federal. He's got the same fear as a pedestrian, though he's taken on the livelihood of keeping the balance in physicality, and senses by observation, stopping cars by a more tenuous law. Though, what is his intention? Peace and well-being? For him, we do move. But it should take Pat years to learn that we cannot give away and only inherit by not being assigned what to do by man. Empty every morning. Our original blame alleviated. And let's all be faithful enough to not hide in groups. Pat, roll down a window. The tint is too much. I know they are afraid. I knew men before they were policemen. I know the mind games of devilish men who keep bar tabs on guilt. Read books. Act slowly. Learn about the local cultures. Acknowledge marriage. Beep, beep. No one wants police with a gun who doesn't acknowledge wives and children patrolling the area, so be moral, because there might have been order in the first place. There are systems of ethics. In reality, we are all trying to keep it cool. Pat relearns his stuff strong-legged each day. Magna Carta, published 1215, sir. Government are not above the law. I am allowed to take it easy, because I know that my words and my movements are mine, and they are as precious, premeditated, and genuine as all the other people's movements. And we work now so that all of our movements and voices today are allowed to be our own, voices heard from the heart. This is freedom of expression. And without that freedom, people are driven to crime or a dead soul, or crime with a dead soul, Amendment 12. For they just want to live in a folk way, unknown round these parts. In reality, there are enough corrupt, confident people okaying normal to inspire antisocial behavior. The writer knows. Things happen, but some things can be prevented now by seeing the wrongdoings of people who seem to not break any laws. The intention, sir. Morality, sir. I am not a judge, but we should be able to see our better judgments are recognized by bright-eyed children. We don't deserve our lives by default, sir. Can we not breathe on earth? She reminds me I have a face. She reminds me she remembers me too, as I remember her. The falsehoods. Wait just a minute. How could you tell me that now, when I am not even sitting on my couch throne? Yes, I live at 50 Franklin Street. Thank you, sir. My last name, thank you, sir. I was overwhelmed by the depths of space and booze one day. You have oriented me. If you want to hear my story beyond psychology, we need 10 candles, fish hooks, no Dr. McGilligans, a fresh glass table, a bowl of fruit, and a whole day of tete-a-tete, me plus paper. Also, you can't be there. A. I haven't even begun to read about the Muslim conquest of Spain, Middle Ages. I know that King's was readable of Latin. Irish culture has nothing to do with fearing histories and bent words. The dandies of Britain love their struts on cobblestones and don nosegays. Fourth grade teachers causing drunk driving accidents repeatedly and committing adultery. Proudly, sir, is not acceptable status quo, nor is letting it off innocent Christianity. You think that's good influence for the kids in the room the next day. Code of silence, if not even a cop. You know where that began. Have you heard of Robert the Bruce? Bruce, King of Scots, was a great warrior of the 14th century. He led campaigns against the English for the sake of Scottish independence. One day, when the Bruce was feeling doubtful in the Midlands, he was brooding in a cave and noticed a spider making a web. This spider would remake its web, even if it had made a masterful web that was destroyed by rain or a gruse. Reflecting, Robert the Bruce realized he must be as resilient in his clashes against the English. This spider's spirit inspired the Bruce to keep fighting. Hence, this anecdote from his legend. You see, that is a man in a war with many dead bodies, a war for his country's liberation, losing real blood on fields riddled with rocks. These wars were a fearsome thing. I don't think he was going to a bar making toasts and feeling knowledgeable without real sweat and experience. We live in a luxurious age. I'd rather have peace for this city by definition. No, policeman, this is not just a grievance, Pat. This is the world. This is the life of children, sir. This is the one woman for you who isn't just those nasty names the showboats use because they think they're player. I'm not drunk when I type, sir. She walks across the street. What do I know about 1000 on Fruit Street? The reality is that today, there are people on the verge of death who can be saved by faith healing, and I'd be a fool to give in to the hate and drama of groupthinks if only one can better focus. Whether the inexplainable, which is only livable. I do not read kings in Latin. I am not wearing a hat. I do not have on underwear, sometimes. Psalms read at night, in that building, do not belong to my audible experience, but the effort to praise belongs to genuine religion, which does have truth, and can make truth before hearsay of yesteryear. Dios. Crack, crack, crack. Raise the voices. Crack, crack. Strong, strong, crack. The boulder I sit on by the ocean in Marshfield remains. A wife's E. She has been loving the prospect of a local gentleman as much as me today, and I can do it. And I must do it. How does she love me? Like an aunt. To teach the children what it means to listen to their mother. This species of thought, timeless. And they used to say you get to heaven by being a good person. Then Martin Luther, born 1483, said we can only submit our fate to God since we understand nothing. Are heaven and nirvana different? Squeaks a young, bespectacled mouse reading my mind. Kathy comes toward the building wanting to relax after nursing school. She affirms I am me. The best me does not name her, does not rope her in, does not force her to take photographs in a red room, but may have her show me how to be a father in a red room somewhere farther. And that happens if I live through the day, but something tells me I'll be fine today. And whatever is spinning like the dreidel out of my chest these days will make the flight across the round earth, across the equator, by the end of the day. The morning star, the synagogue, the benches by the banks. The children should know why it is blasphemous to name a bank Cornerstone. Acts. Oh, and I know what banks they use. The majority knows too. Stitch up your heart. Wear clean socks, or the socks from 3 days ago, and keep climbing, sirs. A poet has faith. We'll have what we need. A. Oh, to be one man in a room. I can tell the truth. This is America, my country. This is my city, a man who's earned truth. Doubloons, Davy Jones. Imagine that's all you are, one person. Then God can shape you. And what is your religion? The religion of your fathers? Have you eaten today? Keep the schools full of Ticonderogas. Give teachers a stipend to take a vacation to Europe, where they can get a poster of Europe. I know what has come before the eyes when we try to read the holy texts at night, and that is called sinner mind, preoccupied with imperfection, seeing only faults. The misers of Bullspit won't spare you a cloth, but one good quiet man can see, Father, it is now removed. Bask in your luscious evergreen body. Be a pine tree, as if my cat is not a separate cat. She allows me to see my naked soul. She confirms my actual size, so I don't fall out of my 8th floor window. Lucy was drunk too. Do not get George MacDonald started on Lilith, published in 1895. Do not make my friend out there pedal his bike faster, or my other friend take 5 paces on the asphalt. This is a reform for Worcesterites. The lights on the top of the car are maybe battery operated. An electric body has might. Yes, young sir, you can get tempted too. Like me, a mind and dangerous weapon. We have arms, sir. A. My cat, he lays on my wrist. He has 10 pounds over one wrist and a wrist in the air. They just want to grow old today freely, have families too. And the poorly organized sets of ideals are less intimidating once you realize one of the best practices to sit patiently and wait and aim like the aims of all others toward order. This summer we are up and east. This summer I am old and cold. I walked outside and through the restaurants where the fakes make their sunset toast and showed them what it means. There was a totem taboo, no stupida adentro, this afternoon after 12 o'clock. At a wave runner's rate of speed, I have friends, tete-a-tete, withstanding. The fair and marvelous women have again reminded me where are my ribs, what water is, how short an hour is in comparison to a proper lifetime, and I know the ridiculous and stupid oppression. Fine, I agree, bowling is a sport that is more universal. One legitimately old people can still play. Me, who sat on the bench all through Farm League at Jack Barry, waited for rain delays. In this, we are all frozen now and good. Ice cream in the park. Officer Pat learns more finely what is a detail. There is still so much coffee available to all. Roofs without holes in them. Laughter plus frozen veggies. Ask someone who was there about the 1940s before they go at the same speed as my chest dreidels around the earth and back again, and does it need to be read? Yes, for this is my movement, and the phenomena recognized do not all belong to my creativity. I was not born yet in 1940. A. Tomorrow, E. Hopefully, I will come down there, down the stairs, and I'll show you it is as simple as that first soul step. For all the other souls become more capable once one soul is concerned solely with the holy life, though one may need to hold an empty key ring and be the jailer for the evening. Might sleep in on a solo bunk. She, one of my oldest and best friends, assures me I can stay inside while I'm still in bed. We go slowly. Years. Two-legged church. Court. Mothers. Drug visions, though what's more, I preferred sober months in the end. Punches in the park. Go spell. Magenta for Isaac. Lilac. According to my calendar from St. John's Church, today is the day for St. Thomas the Apostle. It is also a new moon. Tongue breath. And so, no, women are not the devil in my articles, you wretched fools, and the overly certain should head for the hills on foot. The grass, it grays. Home.